What's going on, guys? Today we are going over a Maison Francis Kurkdjian fragrance. That's right, the House of MFK. I believe we went over Audient and one other that's not coming to my mind right now. But can you guess what's the next one we're going to touch on? Because this one right here is my personal favorite. Strap up, we're going on a ride. All right, you are rocking with me in the scent bubble. I am your host for the afternoon, and today we're going over a fragrance that, yes, this is my personal favorite. Best believe there are great fragrances. I put my nose to Amyris recently. I think we covered that on the channel. If not, there will be a video on it soon. I don't know where we are in the development because I queue up 15 to 20 videos at a time. Like I said, I live 2 weeks in the future of this channel, just making sure that I have videos that are constantly ready to drop for you guys. But we touched Amyris, Oud Satin Mood, Audient, and today this is a fragrance that for me, I copped the sample and absolutely fell in love with this fragrance. You guys know personally, I'm not the biggest fan of sweet fragrances. Definitely not a big fan of gourmands either. Just for me and what I like to wear and my expression of fragrance. It's not that there are fragrances I don't think smell good, but me on my skin, I don't like to smell like tasty, sweet food. There are some exceptions where there could be a touch of it in there. Fire Your Desire, the Angel Share is okay, but you're not going to see me rocking that a whole lot, and other fragrances like that. But this is a sweet fragrance I will always make an exception for, and it is none other than Grand Soir. Listen to me, guys. This fragrance is absolutely incredible, and for any price point, I'm going to put y'all on game today. Let's hurry up and hit the test strip. What you need to know about this fragrance is that it is sweet, sensual, comforting, aromatic, creamy, powdery sweetness. The sweetness with this fragrance is so grand. In a nutshell, it is vanilla, it is amber. The vanilla is rich. This smells like the vanilla of the guy, the vanilla fragrance of a woman who owns a $5 to $10 million home. This would be her fragrance. It's luxury. Let me just attribute the vanilla here, guys, because this is not a typical vanilla. A lot of female, body mists and sprays and lotions, and even some male fragrance DNAs have vanilla. Even the JPG fragrances have some vanilla in them. This sits 3 to 4 levels above any vanilla you have ever smelled in your life. It smells tasty, but it's so luxurious and classy that to me this isn't truly gourmand, even though it packs the power and prestige that a gourmand would have. It dances off into sophistication in its note trail, where it just makes a lot of sense, I believe, for a man to wear. This is definitely unisex. Let me say that first and foremost. I think this fragrance has so much nuance and character and complexity to its vanilla that on a woman, it will take you to a different vibe. On a man, it will take you to a different vibe. This fragrance is absolutely ageless. Before I get all crazy into this like I already have, let me just pull up my notes so I don't leave anything unhinged. But again, the vanilla is, and I want to say every attribute about it that I feel just to put your headspace in what this vanilla might smell like if you never have. It is creamy yet light. It is pungent and rich yet soft. It is sweet but equally sophisticated and classy, just as much as it is sweet. It is warm It is so inviting and cozy. If I want to smell it and feel the romance of it, it smells romantic. If I want it to just smell cozy and comforting and alluring, it does that. If you just want to smell luxurious and classy, ladies and gentlemen, it does just that. This for me, I've got to be honest with you. This for me, when people talk about things like Angel Share and Baccarat Rouge, I think Grand Soir annihilates those two. And that's just my personal opinion. If you want to fight with me in the comments, cool. It contributes to the conversation of fragrance. I'm here for all of it. But for me and my nose, I've smelled BR 540. I've smelled Angel Share. I've smelled all the clones. And when you talk about rich, sophistication, layering, projection, longevity, scent trail, compliment factor, it just checks every box for me. I feel like BR 540 is probably in a close second, but this just does something for me that feels richer, feels more sophisticated, feels more elegant, even though it's linear. Like, this is the finer ingredients in life for how simplistic this is. Let's go to a note breakdown real quick. I think it absolutely annihilates Angel Share, even though Angel Share I have a ton of respect for, and it deserves to be held in high regard. It doesn't hold a candle to Grand Soir for me, guys. This is amber and vanilla in a nutshell. That is pretty much the gist of what you will get with this. Now, let me say this, for your guys' purposes, benzoin, tonka bean, labdanum, lavender. Let me look right into the camera when I say this to you guys. When you smell Grand Soir, you will strictly get amber and vanilla. What's amazing about this fragrance is that even though all I smell is warmed up amber and vanilla, gosh, there's still complexity to this. There's still layer to it. There's still sophistication. There's still a richness of quality to it. The projection, there's nothing synthetic about this. They've just done a heck of a job. For only being a 2-note dominant fragrance, this packs more complexity than about half of the fragrances on my shelf. It keeps your nose right in front of the fragrance. And if you're not near this fragrance, you want to get real close to this fragrance. Now that I've blabbed for almost 10 minutes about the fact that you should buy this fragrance, let's talk about projection longevity real quick. Beast mode, room filler, compliment factor through the roof. No one can avoid you when you wear this fragrance. Again, it's aggressive, but soft in its aggression, meaning they're gonna smell you, but they're not gonna be offended. You can only respect a fragrance like this. Use cases, I feel like it shines in cold weather, but I live in Arizona, and I'm going to be honest with you. As long as I'm indoors, that's a good enough excuse for me. Date night, killer. Going out to a bar or out to the mall or running around town, or, you're a college guy on campus and you want to just be, this is a show stopper. Holiday, cozy, cold weather fragrance dominantly, but again, any excuse you have to wear this indoors and you will be a killer, cold-blooded killer. Women adore this fragrance on a man. Trust me. A woman would smell amazing in this fragrance by herself, and she would rock this proudly. This would easily be in her top 5 as most grab-and-go fragrances. If you're in cold weather, it's absolutely a no-brainer. You're going to use it every day. If you're in super hot weather, you're going to want to run indoors and find a quick excuse with just a little bit of cool climate to give you the excuse to wear this. But you might have to get a smaller, well, I don't think you can get a smaller bottle, but you might have to think about alternatives because you're not really going to use it that much for hot weather. It's a little aggressive. You know, you don't want to smell powdery and creamy and cakey for hot weather. But it's ageless. It's sexless. Price to ml, you guys know it's expensive. I'm seeing it online for 150, 200, 300. Amazon, it's going for 200 for the 2.4. Okay? Samples are going for $30. If you've never smelled this fragrance before, even if you go with the clone that I'm about to give you, you must smell the original OG. I demand you to smell the original OG. I think you might be able to get in the $10 to $15 range to squeeze a sample of this. Make sure when you get a sample, matter of fact, I have a sample real quick here. If you get a sample, make sure a sample has an atomizer on it, okay? You want to spray this on skin. You don't want to drizzle it on your skin. Even if you got a travel spray of it, you will use up the entire bottle without question, but make sure that you can spray it on skin. Price to ml, like I said, I just saw it on Amazon for 200 for a 2.4. 2.4 ounce. Final thoughts about this fragrance. If you cannot afford this fragrance, do not fret. I have found the clone. I repeat, I have found the clone. If you cannot afford Grand Soir, you will still, I demand you to purchase the sample online to get your nose on the authentic. So you know the heritage. So you know just how much more better Grand Soir is than this clone. Even though this clone sits at around 90% to me, it completely validates itself in its purchase because of what it's inspired by. This is from the House of Lattafa, and this is Eternal Oud. Now listen to me. Yes, you will have a fragrance in your collection that looks like Harry Potter's magic wand. Wingardium Leviosa, right? Yes, you will have a fragrance that looks like Hagrid's date night scent from Harry Potter. You know what I'm saying? Like, this bottle is ridiculous. Will you have a unique bottle in your collection that when people come over and see it, they're going to want to smell it just off rip? Absolutely. But let me tell you something. I'm going to spray it just for a second time, even though I've smelled both of these a lot, just to reconfirm, reacquaint my nose with this. Again, this is from the House of Lattafa. This is Grand Soir. Yeah, you know, when we talk about Grand Soir, Eternal Oud is 2 to 3 levels behind Grand Soir in its creaminess, in its vanilla-ness, in its classiness. All of the weight and powder and creaminess is subdued. It's taken back 2 to 3 notches significantly from Grand Soir's richness. So it's Grand Soir to a T in its DNA, but it's less rich, less creamy, less powdery. Does that make it any worse? No. You're still, after the dry down, going to smell like Grand Soir. It's just going to be lighter, less powdery, less creamy, less thick. A lighter take. It's still beast mode. It still is a room filler. It's still projective. But if the powdery, creamy projection of Grand Soir is 10 out of 10, which to me it is, this sits at about a 6 or a 7. Do not let that make you run from the fragrance. This fragrance is about 25 to 30 bucks and it is worth every penny. If you can't afford Grand Soir, you will not shed a single tear with this fragrance in your collection. It will give you the same vibe and the same sophistication and same class. It will just be Grand Soir light. Again, in terms of closeness to the DNA, I give it a 9 out of 10. In terms of projection, longevity, complement factor, I take it down to an 8 or a 7. However, this is the closest I have found. Those of you who are considering not this fragrance, but FOMO's Grand Soir, Eternal Oud annihilates it. Soir is not Grand Soir at all. It gets about a 4 or 5 out of 10 in terms of closeness. It is way more slight inspiration, huge deviation than this. This stays true to form. It is going right next to Grand Soir. It is just lighter and it is just less creamy and powdery, but it will get the job done very, very well. I would almost say its similarity to Grand Soir is very close to Club de Nuit Intense Man is to Creed Aventus in terms of its dial back from the original. Maybe just a little bit less with this one, but you need to get this in your collection if you have no way of getting Grand Soir. If money is not an object to you, get Grand Soir. You will use the entire bottle fast. You will make up excuses to be able to rock it. Hopefully I've answered everything for you guys. Please interact with me in the comments below. As you guys have seen, I leave no rock unturned. I will interact with you because I love the conversation of fragrance. I'm buying fragrances every week, and you guys know me. I'm constantly scouring the internet, watching all the channels, looking for all the deals, and any resource I find that could be helpful for you guys, I'm leaving it right here on this channel. Thank you guys so much for cracking 100 subs. By the time you watch this video, we will be well above that, I'm sure. But I just can't thank you guys enough. If you haven't already, please turn on your notifications so that you're aware of when episodes drop. Spoiler alert, episodes drop every morning at 6 a.m. and they will continue to probably for the next 100 to 200 days. Love you guys. Have a blessed week. For me, even though the episode's dropping late, it's 4th of July weekend, and so we're rocking out. We're smelling good. We're feeling good. We're enjoying the family time, and I hope you guys are too. Love y'all. Have a blessed week.